Everybody, and welcome back to another Game News Roundup. I know it's been a while. I haven't been motivated to record a video. And then today, there's been nothing like huge news, like big stuff, at least what does well on this YouTube channel, which is anything about Microsoft acquiring Activision Blizzard. And then, just late last night, I probably should record this earlier, but it's fine. A big leak occurred. Apparently it was Microsoft's big whoopsie and FTC not noticing. I don't remember. But basically there was a document Microsoft submitted. If you opened it in your web browser, it was fine. There was nothing there. But if you downloaded the document and opened it in like Adobe Reader or anything similar, you noticed there were attachments to it that were invisible in the browser, which had unreleased, unannounced, probably information that should have been redacted or not included at all. That has leaked. Before we get into it, Phil Spencer did respond, Microsoft Gaming CEO. The leaks, again, they are from 2020. So some stuff is out of date, plans change. You know, they plan things out years in advance, what's definitely going to happen in the next year or two or so, and then the more maybe stuff out to 5 years, and then the grand plan of who knows, and things definitely change, and we'll be getting into that. But Phil Spencer, we've seen the conversation around old emails and documents. Again, these are stuff from 2020, before they even acquired ZeniMax, Bethesda's parent company, which includes id Software, Machine Games, Tango Gameworks, and a bunch of other studios. It is hard to see our team's work shared in this way because so much has changed. See, friends, so much has changed, and there's so much to be excited about right now and in the future. We will share the real plans when we are ready. So yeah, plans have changed. So what we might even see might not end up being what these leaks end up being, what I show. But for now, we might as well get into it. So yeah, he also, Spencer, sent an internal memo to Microsoft employees, which was posted by The Verge. Team, today several documents submitted in the court proceedings related to our proposed acquisition of Activision Blizzard were unintentionally disclosed. A big whoopsie. I know this is disappointing even if many of the documents are well over a year old. They're 3 years old. And our plans have evolved. I also know we all take the confidentiality of our plans and our partners' information very seriously. This leak obviously is not us living up to that expectation. We will learn from what happened to be better going forward. We all put incredible amounts of passion and energy into our work, and this is never how we want that hard work to be shared with the community. That said, there's so much more to be excited about, and when we're ready, we'll share the real plans with our players, the gamers, the people who play on Xbox, or I guess Xbox ecosystem on PC, whether it's Xbox console, Xbox PC, and whatever, you know. In closing, I appreciate all of the work that you pour into Team Xbox to surprise and delight our players in the days and weeks ahead. Let's stay focused on what we can control, continuing the amazing success of Starfield, which actually was announced today, has already topped 10 million players in, less than 2 weeks at this point. The upcoming launch of the incredible and accessible Forza Motorsport, which is coming out next month, I believe, off the top of my head. There's so many games coming out, it's hard to keep track of everything coming out in the next, couple months. And continuing to build games, services, and devices that million players can enjoy. So, going into the leaks. One of the things leaked was the Xbox Series X and S mid-gen refresh. Now, these are not like equivalent to the Xbox One X or PlayStation 4 Pro, like a more powerful machines. These are more of a slim redesign of the current consoles with the same power. They're not going to be more powerful. It'll be the same Series S and Series X, just with the redesign and maybe has some other minor changes. So yeah, the refresh of the Xbox Series S has the codename of Elwood, which has potentially again, these plans could change. This is from 2020. A potentially late August release. It says $299. Again, plans could change. It might be less. It might be more. Who knows? It comes with a 1 terabyte SSD. And currently, Microsoft did just recently released an Xbox Series S in black instead of white with 1 terabyte for $350. So this would be $50 cheaper. And then the Xbox Series X redesign, although more of a new Series X, a digital version of the Series X, codenamed Brooklyn, but with an I instead of a Y. Comes with 2 terabytes, potentially late October. $499 potential launch price. And they want 60-day plus separation between launches. Also a new controller, which will come out for $69.99, featuring a lot of features like the Switch and PS5 controllers do have. So yeah, the refresh series... Actually, we might as well just go through here. Here is potentially what it is, a new Series X refresh, which is a digital version. This does not mean they're going to be dropping the current Series X and they won't have a physical media Series X going forward. I expect this to be current Series X, and you got the Series X Digital Edition, or whatever they end up calling it. Who knows? We'll see. Again, this is set to have 2 terabytes of SSD storage instead of 1 terabyte of the current one. So yeah, the most powerful Xbox ever. Now, adorably all digital, so yeah, it's a cylinder. I mean, now is this what it's gonna look like? Who knows? Plans change. Maybe the thing is real and that is what it'll look like, or maybe it'll look more like the current Series X, just a bit smaller because without the disk drive in there. And maybe some other die shrinks and, a little bit smaller. I'm not expecting like a huge, like, alright, it's this big and now it's this big type of deal, like some other slims we've seen in the past. I'm expecting more of a maybe a smaller design, nothing too crazy. But again, we'll see. Plans change. We'll see what these end up being. So yeah, it's gonna have some other changes, not just the fact that it's, say a cylinder potentially, and being digital, and 2 terabytes. Apparently, it will also have faster Wi-Fi than the current Series X. It'll have reduced power, save you, I guess, electricity money, saving power, being greener. So yeah, right here, improve sustainability. Reduce PSU power supply by 15%. New low power standby mode is 20% of current Series S standby mode. Increases use of PCR in housing by 30%. 100% recyclable packaging. So Microsoft trying to go a bit greener with their hardware. Although at this point, they don't have a lot of hardware. Microsoft, I mean, they got the Xbox consoles and they have Surface. Might be it. I'm sure there's other stuff I can't think of, but it's mainly the 2 things they have left. Obviously, Xbox being the big one. So the updated technology is all new Southbridge to modernize I/O and sustainable efforts. Wi-Fi 6E radio for better throughput, latency, and interference mitigation. Bluetooth 5.2 radio for improved accessory experiences. 6 nanometer die shrink for improved efficiency compared to the current sizes of the parts inside there. Which I can't remember off the top of my head. Might be 8 or 9 nanometers? 7 nanometers? I don't remember exactly. Again, these are old plans from a few years ago. Things might change. Maybe it'll be a big, smaller or bigger die shrink, smaller die shrink, 5 nanometers, 4 nanometers. We'll see. Again, same great price of $499. All new immersive control, which we'll get to in a moment. And yeah, USB front port C, and that's really about it. Just a power button. I think a button for a, to sync your controllers. And 1 USB port. I'm sure there'll be stuff on the back. Yeah, obviously HDMI power, probably other USB ports if need be on the back. But there were no images, anything of the Series S redesign. There's not much said about it, other than the code name, potentially late August 2024, 1 terabyte and $299. Which again, all these plans could change. Also, there is a new controller. Which, again, potentially June. Late May, June. Maybe say announced that will be their equivalent to their E3. The usual June main showcase by all this will be announced next year. Potentially. Officially announced, I guess, technically following these leaks. So yeah, the new controller here, again, I like the new features. I don't care for the two-tone. It's a bit weird. Like, this... Oh, this is not gonna work. Right. I'm using a green screen, and it's green on the back. But, like, the grips are being green there, and that's it. Otherwise, it's black. Like, that's fine. But the way that two-tone is, where it's just kind of, like, cut kind of it's odd. Hopefully, they're, like, either that's not the official final design. We'll see. Or they're gonna take feedback, like, oh, yeah, people don't like that two-tone that exact way. Let's change this up a bit. Again, these are a little old and out of date, and plans have changed. I know, I keep saying that over and over again. So yeah, the new Xbox controller, Xbox Wireless 2, Direct-to-Cloud, Bluetooth 5.2, new mobile app feature. So an Xbox app, I'm assuming. The ability to see paired devices and cloud. And manage devices and accessories. So you'll be able to swap back and forth. And immersion, here's the thing. Precision haptic feedback, which PS5 controllers do currently have. And the haptics apparently double as speakers. I don't know how that'll work. Really, I don't know. I'm not an engineer. An accelerometer. It's definitely in the Switch controllers. Quieter buttons, which I don't know if you can even hear that. If I click the stuff, and I don't know. Quiet, I'm not sure, so bear with the green screen. It's acting up today. See, rechargeable and swappable batteries. It'd be nice to not... Although I do have a recharge kit on this controller, but generally speaking, you gotta go out and spend money on a battery for the recharge for the Xbox. I mean, at least you can open it up and change it out if need be in the future. Recycled materials and less resin. Repair and disassembly. Now, here's interesting. Another interesting. New modular thumbsticks. Which makes me think you'll be able to pop out the thumbsticks and replace them. Well, when you buy the controller, will it come with another set of thumbsticks you can replace them with? Maybe. I don't know. Improved longevity, which I'm assuming means more durable. Less likely to get stick drift, which is a big issue with a lot of controllers nowadays. And continue build improvements. Engage and delay. Apparently lift to wake, so if you just lift a controller up, it turns on. Kind of cool, I guess. Familiar Xbox feels same ergonomics as Merlin, which I'm assuming Merlin is the current Series X and S controller. Same layout and activation forces. Special edition, limited edition, Xbox Design, XDL being Xbox Design Labs options as expected, so it's currently what you expect. Another, I mean, the layout's pretty much the same other than these other changes, and except one button is moved. The share button is a little bit smaller and is up slightly. I think that's the only real major difference between I'm looking at. I'm like, it's pretty much the same D-pad thing. So yeah. So yeah, again, if you want to pause anything, check this stuff out. Links below. Actually, if you want to check out the links, these articles below in the description on this YouTube video. Again, this is also being recorded live on Twitch. If you want to check out my Twitch streams, I've been mainly doing Starfield of late. Do plan on doing Alan Wake 2 when that comes out end of October, I think. And some other games. I do mainly PC at this point other than Nintendo. So, like, I'm waiting for God of War Ragnarok to come to PC. I'll definitely stream that. Spider-Man 2 whenever that eventually comes to PC type of deal. But, yeah. Redesign. I mean, we'll see how these plans might change. I mean, a redesign or a refresh or whatever of the Series X and S and a new control, I guess, in 2024. Makes sense. That's the halfway mark of the current generation, as everything's pointing to 2028 as a likely launch for the next gen Xbox or the PS6, most likely, which is a year longer than most generations, but considering the slower start and the pandemic and all that stuff, it makes sense that extra year. Okay, so now moving on. Actually, I might as well do this one next. Next generation Xbox early details have also leaked. Now, these are probably the big, most wishy-washy, like, the mid-gen Xbox refreshes that make more sense. It's more likely to happen. This is more of a, this is so far out, plans definitely change, especially this is being, I believe, from 2020. So 8 years out. For the next generation Xbox consoles, which they're calling something about cloud hybrid games. Now, mind you, I don't think that means cloud only or anything. It's more the fact that Flight Simulator, you can play offline, but to get more features and stuff out of it, there was the ability to use the cloud to get higher detail of certain things. I'm assuming that's what they're talking about, where it's not like you have to use the cloud. It'd be fine not using it. So yeah, each generation of Xbox has also brought new innovations to Microsoft, Xbox Live, Connect, and they really stretched on their Xbox security processing. Yeah, I guess Game Pass. Project X Cloud for the Series X and S, direct storage, GFA manufacturing, cloud hybrid, and immersive game in that platform for the next gen. Again, these are way out. We will see, because there's a lot of ors, or verses. So their vision, develop a next generation hybrid game platform capable of leveraging the combined power of the client, so the power of the Xbox console that you would have at home or your PC, and cloud together to deliver deeper immersion and entirely new classes of game experiences. A lot of the fancy words and make things sound fancy type of deal. Optimized for real-time gameplay and creators. We will enable new levels of performance beyond the capabilities of the client hardware alone. Now, there's a lot of ifs, ors, not much in the way of details, because it's 2028. It's 2023, we're talking about 5 years from now. CPU, potentially an ARM64, maybe an X64. Or it could be a balance of big and little CPU cores, maybe. It could be co-designed with AMD, or maybe they'll just use an already licensed AMD IP, like Navi 5. Yeah, it's a lot of this, that, or the other thing, and a lot of the things are up in the air. I mean, as soon as the console comes out, the company's already starting to look at their next-gen console, which is, 6, 7, 8 years later down the road. Just like, alright, where's technology now? How has it been progressing? Where do we think it'll be in that time period? And get a rough idea. Anyways, yeah. But yeah, balancing the desire for flexible, programmable ML silicon versus high-performance silicon for targeted workloads, forward compatibility, next-gen DirectX ray tracing, dynamic global illumination, micro-polygonal rendering optimizations, ML-based super resolution extensibility model for faster iteration and innovation. ThinOS lacking? I don't know. Some of this stuff, we'll see where this stuff ends up. This is more wishy-washy. Again, they already said plans of changing. Also because Xbox Cloud Gaming, xCloud hasn't really taken off anywhere near what they were expecting, so I bet you there's going to be less of a push with cloud gaming. And also now that they've given up a lot of their rights for at least Activision Cloud Gaming and some of their cloud gaming stuff to other cloud gaming providers in order to get their Activision Blizzard deal approved by regulators, which again, we're still waiting on the UK. And when that does come out, when we get the UK's official, either approve or disapprove, still blocking it or whatever, I'll get a video out as soon as I can. Let's see. Yes, Bethesda. Now, we got a potentially leak of Bethesda's upcoming game lineup. However, I will ignore the dates at this point. Easily ignore the date because it's got Starfield and Redfall listed as 2021. They came out this year in 2023, so whatever these dates are, I would add 2 or 3 years. Potentially more at this point. We will see. Obviously, not everything gets delayed and whatever, but I feel like most things will end up being delayed. But there are several games here that have not been announced, or maybe one that was rumored, but this is kind of an official, like, oh, this is actually a thing. So going in, looking for anything, we get anything interesting. Project Hibiki, we don't know. That is Indiana Jones game. Yes, that has already been announced. That Machine Games, the developers of Wolfenstein, are working on an Indiana Jones game that I believe is Xbox console exclusive and coming to PC and Game Pass, of course. One that has been rumored, an Elder Scrolls 4, Oblivion remaster is in development. Maybe next year, 2025. Obviously, a Starfield DLC is listed, unsurprisingly, which we know that's a thing. Doom Year Zero. Likely is probably id Software, be my guess, who, developed Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal. Doom Year Zero, does that mean it's a prequel? Not sure. Maybe it's time travel involved to go back into the past. Who knows? Project Kestrel, we don't know what that is. Project Platinum, we don't know what that is. Obviously, Elder Scrolls Online expansion is obviously a thing. I mean, they list Elder Scrolls 6 as fiscal year 2024. That clearly is not a thing that's going to happen. Considering Starfield just came out, we're probably talking 2026, holiday 2026 at the earliest for Elder Scrolls 6. But my gut is telling me, I don't have any insider information, that Elder Scrolls 6 will come out in 2028. I hate to say that, 5 years from now, 2028. And will be a cross-gen launch title for the Xbox Series X and S, and a launch title for the next generation Xbox. And obviously PC, of course. That's what my gut's telling me. Who knows? We will see what happens. It depends how much they want to push it than any previous games they've done. Of course, Starfield is such a big world, universe, galaxy to explore. Elder Scrolls 6, it's a big open world, but it's still an open world. You're on one planet. You're not going to different planets. So we'll see what they end up doing with it. Also, there was something about a licensed IP game. There's been speculation, no, not even rumors, just complete speculation that maybe it's a Marvel game? Star Wars? Disney, pretty much. Disney. When people always go to Disney. I don't know. Or maybe like a Warner Brothers, a DC, Batman, Superman game. I don't know. Also, Fallout 3 remaster. Again, remaster, not remakes. But it depends how much these remasters are. Remaster could just mean, yeah, it's the same game. We've maybe updated some of the controls. The lighting's a bit better. It's now in 4K resolution and 60 FPS instead of 30 FPS type thing. That's like the bare minimum. I'm expecting a bit more than that. Maybe some improved visuals, but maybe nothing absolutely too nuts. Where it's basically the similar game with some other improvements and better visuals. But we'll see. A Ghostwire Tokyo sequel, which, even though it's listed here, that doesn't mean it definitely is happening. Tango Gameworks is going to be working on that. And this was before the first Ghostwire came out. Depends how much it met their expectations or not. Dishonored 3, which I know some people like the Dishonored series. Boo! Third Dishonored game from Arcane. Again, it says 2024 fiscal year, so probably 2026. Again, I would add 2 years to most of these, maybe 3 years, maybe the remasters, maybe not as much, but clearly these dates are off, even if, like, ooh, we got some awesome leaks, some awesome games, and then obviously, yeah, free-to-play mobile games as well. Planned titles, but no, we'll see if those end up being the case or not. Let's see. Oh, yeah, there was another leaked email. Phil Spencer was talking about potentially, what would it be? He was basically, sounds like he was asked, like, hey, Nintendo, you should acquire. And this is him kind of, Phil Spencer, Microsoft Gaming CEO's response to it, because it says, subject, reply, random thought. I wouldn't take anything this too seriously. Microsoft, over 20 years ago, I don't know, it was like 2000, 2001, I want to say, they went to Nintendo about acquiring them, and Nintendo literally laughed them out the room. Just like, they just laughed. And like, no, I don't see that happening. So just reading some of the stuff he says here. Again, this is Phil Spencer in a subject of random thought. Sasha, I totally agree that Nintendo is the prime asset for us in gaming, and today gaming is our most likely path to consumer relevance, excuse me. This is not saying like, oh, we're definitely gonna do it, just kind of talking broadly. I've had numerous conversations with the LT of Nintendo about tighter collaboration and feel like if any US company would have a chance with Nintendo, we are probably in the best situation. The unfortunate, or fortunate for Nintendo, situation is that Nintendo's sitting on a big pile of cash. They also have a board of directors that, until recently, have not pushed for further increases in market growth or stock appreciation. Market growth, I guess, releasing their games, more games on phone or PC. Obviously, not PlayStation or Xbox. That's not happening. I say until recently, as our former Microsoft board of director member, one of them, has been heavily acquiring shares of Nintendo, and I've kept in touch with them as he's been acquiring. It's likely he will put, again, this is from August 2020, before they acquired ZeniMax, which is proof down here. Without that cause, I don't see an angle to a near mutual term agreeable merger of Nintendo and Microsoft, and I don't think a hostile action would be a good move, so saying, yeah, definitely a hostile takeover. But board of director has seen the full write-up on Nintendo and Valve, and they are fully supportive on either. If opportunity arises, as am I. So yeah, if an opportunity arises, if Nintendo or Valve goes like, hey, we're in for sale, sure, they're gonna listen. But obviously, they're not going to do a hostile takeover. Also, although Valve is a private business, but I don't. The amount of issues Microsoft has had acquiring Activision Blizzard, yes, it's likely to be approved in the end. There's a lot of difficulty, and then obviously Nintendo being one of the 3 console manufacturers, taking one of them off the board, or merging 2 of them together, Xbox and Nintendo. Or Valve, which give Microsoft a monopoly pretty much on gaming on PC. This most, like, what market share does Steam have? Like 90% or something crazy, if not more than that at this point. So yeah, confidentially, we have 2 fairly active M&A discussions in gaming right now. Warner Brothers Interactive and ZeniMax. Again, they have those 2 choices that are actively they were looking into, and they decided to go with ZeniMax over Warner Brothers. Biggest issue with Warner Brothers Interactive is they don't own the IP, the DC games. They don't own that. So eventually that could be hurt them long term, and obviously ZeniMax, I think, yeah, I won't say WB or Zenny is Nintendo, but both are for sale and gettable by us if things align, which obviously they did align. Biggest obstacle with WB's IP ownership. We wouldn't own any of the IP, which hurts long-term flexibility, and only obstacle on Zenny is valuation expectations of founders. So clearly they aligned, and they're like, oh, you want us to pay this much for you guys? All right, and they did it, which, considering this was August 2020, and I believe the acquisition of ZeniMax Bethesda was September 2020? It was just before the Xbox Series X and XS launched. I mean, a couple months before, so I want to say it was September 2020. So literally, this was right before it went down. The deal went down. But yeah, I love this discussion and value you looking at the opportunities here. At some point, getting Nintendo would be a career moment. Just saying, yeah, well, yeah, of course it would be a career moment acquiring Nintendo. And I honestly believe a good move for both companies. It's just taken a long time for Nintendo. See that the future exists off their own hardware. A long time. Although, considering the Switch has sold, is going to potentially be the best-selling video game platform of all time. Yeah, I don't know about them existing off their own hardware. Obviously, you never know from one generation to the next. You know, the NES to the GameCube sales run the decline, and then the Wii shot up, sold 100 million. The Wii U sold with barely 13 million, was a complete flop for Nintendo. And then the Switch sold 120 some odd, 130 million at this point. Yeah, almost 130 million at this point. So, and it's still selling. So potentially 150, 160 million lifetime, maybe more. We'll see. Depends when the next gen Switch comes out. We will see. So, another thing, which I mean, it's not really a big surprise. Phil Spencer saying the lack of any big AAA exclusives in 2022 for Xbox was a disaster. This being in a email sent in May 2022, with the news that Starfield's going to miss holidays. Is still not a ton of clarity on the launch date of Redfall, and Soccer 2 development impacted by the war in Ukraine, which, yeah, Soccer 2, I think, is eventually coming out in Q1 of next year, Q1 2024. I feel we are in a huge hole with our games lineup, both for platform marketing, differentiation, and our Game Pass content, which is true. They didn't really have any big releases in 2022. In 2021, I mean, they had Forza Horizon 5, Halo Infinite, a bunch of other games, actually, that he listed. Flight Simulator on console, Psychonauts 2, Age of Empires 4. Big third-party deals, like with Back 4 Blood, and then up to 2022, there was really not much for big releases. Obviously, this year, Starfield just came out, Forza Motorsport is coming out, Hi-Fi Rush was the beginning of the year. Redfall, which was a complete bomb, but that did come out in May. Next year, we got Stalker 2 coming out early, Avowed, Hellblade 2, potentially some of the Bethesda games that maybe have been delayed a couple years. Maybe the Oblivion remastered. Indiana Jones game maybe next year. Maybe not. Depends. Also, he did mention... but to come off of that year with no big exclusives launching in 2022 is a portfolio planning miss that we can't afford. If we need to delay launches, he's talking about, instead of releasing too many games close together than having a big gap, potentially delaying some games, so there's more of a constant, steady release of Xbox exclusives, which I think is probably the best way to do it, because Halo Infinite and Forza Horizon 5 launched within like a week of each other, if you include the Halo Infinite tactical beta for the multiplayer beta. Or if not, it was still within a month of each other, versus they spread them out just a little bit more. Also, Halo Infinite probably could have used a little bit more time in the oven, even though it had already been delayed a year at that point. But yeah, it's them trying to figure things out, work things out with all the studios that they now have, and getting a consistent lineup, which we guess we will see how things go in the future with Xbox. So yeah, what do you think on these leaks? What do you think on the potential mid-gen refreshes? Are you excited? Even if it's the same power, or potentially a slightly smaller design with a die shrink, or a digital-only Series X, which I know people have been asking for a while. And having 2 terabytes is nice over the 1 terabyte SSD. Of course, these prices, who knows? Things are always up in the air. We'll see officially probably next June. It's most likely when they will potentially announce these, especially if these release periods are somewhat accurate, considering they announced the 1 terabyte Series S in June of this year. It just came out September 1st of this year, which could line up with the Series S redesign and the Series X digital version. And then obviously, talking about a new controller coming out late May, June, which is right when they normally hold. And obviously, actually, they say right here, mid-gen console announced. Elwood and Brooklyn announced simultaneously. So yeah, probably at their big June showcases when these will be officially announced. And we'll see how the designs end up being for the controller on the Series X and maybe the Series S, which there were no images leaked in the leak of it. So yeah, that is going to do it. Cover it for all of these big leaks. If you enjoyed this, be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll catch you all next time for some more gaming news, gaming sales, and other gaming industry information.